Welcome in, everybody. It is Tuesday night. Daniel is not here, but that's all right because we're going to rock Tennessee baseball. Y'all know how we do. Absolutely love the guys out in Knoxville. And tonight we got Hunter Ensley on. How you doing tonight?
Doing good, man. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm good. I just got done watching y'all absolutely wreck it on the baseball field, along with my LSU Tigers and a few other teams. Kind of wish I'd have put in a parlay tonight. I think I would have won, but that's probably why they all hit because I didn't bet them. That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
But let's break the ice first. Let's talk about music, man. I always like to know, if you could go see any musical artist or band anywhere, who are you going to see? Where are you going to see them?
Man, I my music range of variety and music that I like is every single genre. But what I've seen is Red Hot Chili Peppers concerts seem back in the day were just unbelievable. So if I could travel in time, I'm probably going back and going to one of those concerts.
I have actually, had the opportunity multiple times I'm from Memphis and they used to come to Memphis in May when they had some big headliners. And I ended up not going, and it's one of those things I definitely regret because I love Red Hot Chili Peppers too. And it's one of those things, back then it wasn't a big deal, and now you look back and you're like, man, I missed a golden opportunity.
What part of Memphis you from?
I'm from Raleigh, Fraser, Bartlett, lived all over, but originally born and raised in Fraser back before it became what it is today.
Okay. Yeah, I'm from pretty much Jackson, Tennessee.
Okay, yeah, hour north. Okay.
Yeah,
That's not
like 30
that's not what
minutes.
your profile says. It says you from the frozen tundra.
Oh, well, yeah, born in Alaska, lived there for 5 years, but it didn't
I,
last a long
I
time.
feel like we could just jump over that. We don't broke the ice literally, figuratively. Let's get into that. So, because you say Jackson, but you did 5 years in Alaska. That's still 5 years of your life. Do you have any memories like, some people can remember. I can remember back when I was 5 years old. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Do you remember Alaska?
I remember a little bit of it. I mean, we're from a town of, wanted to say when I lived there, around just under 40 people. So tiny town, Kisan, Alaska. It's a town on Prince of Wales Island. Um, but no, some of the memories I remember is, we lived right on the ocean. We're probably 50, 75 yards from the ocean, and then you got the mountains right behind us. But no, I mean, I remember walking to school a lot with my sister, and obviously pretty chilly up there. I remember, swimming in the Pacific, and that's a pretty cold ocean for sure.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I could only imagine. I was stationed in San Diego. Water was super cold there, but not nearly as far north. So yeah, I've never been. I don't know if it's even my kind of place because I don't do that kind of cold weather. Even though it does look beautiful when it gets warm for the couple months. But you got out there, I guess, before. Did you even play sports at all? I mean, T-ball is, kind of before five. Did you even play ball there or anything?
Yeah, funny story I'll tell you. So my dad was a commercial fisherman. He was a big fisherman, and he would catch, big halibut. And what you do with these halibut when you catch them is you hit them on the head. And he had a little mini bat. So I think my first swings were swinging a little mini wood bat and hitting halibut on the top of the head.
That's yeah, a combination of your surroundings with the sport, right? Like that only happens there. So no, but you move to Jackson, obviously you say 5 years, so I guess obviously around five. Now that I know that and you're coming into that area, obviously west side of Tennessee, big baseball, obviously the whole state, but I just know where I'm from. So obviously you probably were getting into some pretty competitive baseball pretty early.
Yeah, I would say I got into really competitive ball at about 8 years old. I know I started playing travel ball at 7, coach pitch, and then I kind of got on, the bigger, I guess, for coach pitch, better travel ball teams, and uh, they were Memphis teams like Doolin's, and I remember the one team I was playing for a little bit was the Mississippi Mustangs, right out of South Haven. So
Yeah, it
yeah, I'd say
almost feels
eight.
like this episode Daniel should have been here because that is his world. He's the actual baseball player of the two, and he's from Memphis as well. We grew up together. Anyway, knows all those travel ball organizations played in them. You know, we even had one of our first season guests was Ed Easley, which is EBC. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, so we know that world real well. But like I said, big baseball area. Before we dive too far in baseball, though, I'd be remiss if I didn't go back. You know, you brought up your dad. You know, talk to me about family. You know, you got brothers, sisters, mom, dad. What we got in the house?
yeah. I got my dad's Marty, my mom Alice, and then I have a older sister. She's 1 year older than me. She's 23. Carson.
She an athlete?
She was a high school athlete, not anymore.
What about your parents? I mean, you know, I watch you play. You got athleticism. You know, I read your profile. Obviously, see you play multiple sports. You know, did it come from then, or did it come from somebody else in the family down the line?
No, I'd say it came from maybe a little bit of both. My dad was a wrestler growing up, but and my mom played high school basketball. I would say a combination of both, just because they're going to listen to this, and
You got
probably I'd say
mom was a
fifty one
hooper.
percent, 51% my dad, 49% my mom.
I hear you. So, could mom ever come out in the driveway and play horse?
She tried. She can never beat me for sure.
I heard that. So obviously I talked about multiple sports. For those people who don't know, maybe they just see you swing a bat. They don't know that you played football as well. Is football something that you started at an early age as well?
Yeah, football was also another one I started. I guess I was playing. Well, when we moved here, I got into all sports. Obviously, fell in love with baseball early, and then picked up. I played football um, from 8 all the way to seventh grade. Took a year off, jumped back in it in high school, and fell in love with football again. And played 4 years football.
What position did you play?
My freshman year, I played free safety, and then my sophomore year, wide receiver, free safety, junior, senior year, quarterback, free safety. Small school, so I played both sides a lot.
The question I have for you, because I'm gonna fast forward to Tennessee for a second. Where were you playing in that snow game that I watched the video of?
I was on Burke's team playing wide receiver, but he couldn't find me the ball at all.
Oh, that's interesting because he told me he was the best quarterback out there. I feel like if he was the best quarterback, he would have found you. So this might be stomping out those rumors he's been telling.
Burke, he's just not a quarterback. He can say he is. He's just not. I would say me and Beam are the top two on the team.
Yeah, Tony V came on here and talked. He dissected that game with me. He actually already stomped out the Burke thing, but he keeps sticking with it. He's a believer.
Oh no, Burke, he's a little. He's got some false confidence going on the football
Well,
side.
the problem was for us on social media was the first clip that came out was his touchdown throw, and you know, as Beam quickly pointed out, I mean, he hit a wide open target, so you know, you'd hope so, but
That
that
might have been his only completion all game.
that whole thing is funny though, man, because I talked to Tony about it, and it's one of those things that if I'm a coach, man, I'm cringing. The season's fixing to start, and I'm watching all my players like play, and I'm just waiting for somebody to get hurt. But that's the kind of coach he is, right? He lets y'all be who you are and have fun. And obviously everybody ended up okay, and it's led to a lot of inside jokes. And obviously y'all had fun that day. I mean, y'all even had a couple of people look like they were crazy hooligans, had no shirt on, way too
Yeah,
for all that.
it
Uh,
was a lot of fun. I think we kind of made sure V wasn't exactly outside to start the game, so he might have been up in the office watching, but we're smart enough not to play it right in front of him.
There you go. So going back to, you know, growing up, I did see on the resume you got to play some in East Cobb. Obviously, that is you know, the area if you want to get seen. You know, what was it like playing against the best, you know, travel ball players in the country, in my opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I for sure got into big time competitive baseball around 14, 13, 14, especially when people started to mature. But I think for me, it's just getting out there and, seeing the best competition you can at a young age. And really, at that point, I was trying to keep up with those guys and working my tail off to keep up with them. But I think for me, getting to know those guys, getting to see those guys, and trying to compete with them at that level was big for a jump start to my career. Anyway,
Yeah, because obviously you mentioned, you know, how small your high school was, and so you have to go to, places like that, or otherwise you're never going to find that kind of competition. And obviously, obviously not going to get seen to be able to go to the next level. But you did, at Huntington High, you were the finalist, man, first ever for football and baseball. Tennessee Class A. What was that like, man? You said it's a small school, but it's still got to be a cool feeling when knowing that you're the guy in both sports.
Yeah, it's a cool feeling. I mean, really, I just like to in high school. I like to. I mean, my big thing was getting out with some of my best friends, whether that was football, baseball, backyard basketball, just going out and competing and having fun with those guys because those 4 years aren't going to last forever. So playing as many sports as possible. I was pretty terrible at basketball, so I gave that one up in high school. But yeah, those two sports, building
Well,
relationships.
let me ask you this. Obviously I know the relationship part of it because like I said, my host Daniel, he played football and baseball. He's one of the only two guys on our high school team that did both. So I know the relationship aspect because I was with him, but he talks about athletically, it helped him to play both. Even though they aren't the same at all, one helped the other. Would you say the same thing?
Yeah, I would too. And I think also it's good to have a break from both sometimes. I know baseball is pretty time consuming. So, being able to have 15 weeks of football, and kind of focus on that and push baseball to the side for a little bit. Obviously, still get your swings in and stuff. But, pushing football to the main focus, I think it helped me, have a fresh reset when baseball season came around.
If you could only pick one, doesn't got to be your best. It's more favorite. Would you rather do Friday Night Lights or would you rather have a weekend at Travel Ball?
The weekend of travel ball or Friday night lights, definitely play another Friday night football game.
Every baseball player that played football has said that. I don't think I've had any. I mean, you just can't beat Friday nights. It doesn't matter what part of the country they're from. It's just the universal answer. You can't go back to it. But I will say this about baseball. I don't know how small the schools you're playing, but Hunter, man, we've had 200 baseball players on here, elite level guys, and I think you're maybe only the third that I could say sported over a 600 batting average. So I don't really care where you're playing. 632 batting average, bro. Your junior year is just filthy. Like, I mean, it's like hitting a beach ball for real.
Yeah, I was seeing it pretty good that year. I'm not gonna lie.
So when COVID comes in 2020, you're pretty pissed to say the least, probably because you were probably looking to go to even higher, links, which would be crazy.
Yeah, that was a pretty tough one. I think we played 3 games and figured out the whole world's getting shut down for a few months, and then uh, yeah, that was a pretty rough one because it ended up being COVID. And then I ended up getting surgery my freshman year at Knoxville, which kind of kept me out my sophomore year. So before last year, there was 3 full years where I never really got a full season in. So
Yeah.
to say the least,
And
I
I
was
was
ready to
gonna
get back to the field.
Exactly. And I was going to ask you about that because it was something that I had worried about, to use since you're familiar with this area. So I live right down the street from DeSoto Central. And I had always worried about Blaze Jordan because, same age as you. And he had he first, well, actually a year younger than you because he reclassified, missed his junior year. Then COVID takes his senior year. He gets drafted. And so he's basically goes 2 years without playing ball. And next thing you know, he's in the minors. And I thought, man, this kid
Right.
might get chewed up and spit out. Luckily, he's been successful. But yeah, for you, not playing ball for what seems like over 2 years, how hard was it to get back in? I mean, it's not just easy. I watched, to use an example, I watched Tommy White in the first practice after he came back from surgery in January. And I mean, he's missing pitches on a normal BP. We're not talking about like he's facing a pitcher straight up. I'm talking about BP. You could see the rust. So I know how hard it is when you haven't played or you have surgery. So for you, we're talking about a lot of time off. How hard was it to adjust and come back?
Yeah, it's tough for sure. Yeah, not really playing at all for senior year, really playing none freshman year, and then very, very limited time sophomore year. It's pretty tough for your confidence, to say the least, especially when you know you get your opportunities and kind of pressing a little bit and the results just aren't there. But I think the big thing for me was, going out and playing summer ball and just playing baseball again really helped me. I went out to Santa Barbara and played for the Foresters for a summer and had a pretty good summer and came back with a bunch of confidence and felt like I can help this team win, uh, coming into last year.
Yeah, and whether it's injury or not, that's a common story with guys that we have all the time. Summer ball can, man, it's like lightning in a bottle. You go there, you can fix a lot of things and then come back and that carries over to school. But I do got to ask, because we didn't talk about it as we kind of fast forwarded into your medical red shirt, when did you choose Tennessee and why did you choose Tennessee?
Yeah, so growing up, West Tennessee, you know how the fans are, crazy Tennessee fans. So kind of moving into it, growing up around, just Tennessee Volunteers 24/7. That's Tennessee football, Tennessee basketball, and I was a baseball player. So kind of growing up, that's where I wanted to go. Is I wanted to be a Tennessee baseball player. Just to make a lot of people in the town. I just thought it would be a pretty cool thing. But I actually committed under Dave Serrano, the old coach, and I thought it would just be a pretty cool opportunity to come play here. Obviously, in-state tuition is big time, and uh, yeah, if I got the opportunity at an early age and jumped on it fast.
Yeah, no doubt. I just got to thinking he may be a little too old, but thinking about where you're from, thinking about guests of our show in Tennessee, did you ever, he would have been like maybe, I don't know, he may have been 3 years older than you. Did you ever play with Andy Cox? He's a
Andy
Tennessee
Cox.
pitcher. He was a Tennessee pitcher in like 2015 to 18, and he's from that part of Tennessee. That's what I wondered.
What do you know? What high school he went to?
Yeah, he went to uh there's multiple, obviously there's multiple it's the all boys private school in Memphis, not Christian Brothers, but the other one, St. Benedict, or what I'm talking about. There's like four of them in Memphis.
Christian Brothers. It's not St. George's, I don't think.
Okay.
Um,
I think it is St. George's a small one.
St. George's is small.
Yeah, I think that's the one he went to actually.
Is he? Did he go to the same school as? Did you have Reagan Burford on here for an episode?
Yeah, he didn't go with
One of my.
Reagan.
Oh, so it's not St. George's then.
Okay. Yeah, no, man, I forgot Burford was from there. Now that you brought that up, I was because you go on Burford's Road, you go to Northwest Florida State and all that. You go down like a whole rabbit hole with him, and I forget that he's
Right.
even from there. Yeah, no, I was just curious. It was a random thought because he's a guy who played for Tennessee before anybody was white. That's the thing, he would have been playing for them basically when you committed to them, and obviously when you brought up the coach, just what made me think about it. Let me ask you, when you commit to them, is you talk about wanting to play for Tennessee, you talk about being a Tennessee fan and from the area, but was there any hesitation? Because at that time, Tennessee baseball was not doing big things at all.
No, there wasn't really any hesitation. It was kind of just me wanting to go to a school that I grew up watching, and a lot of culture with all sports here, and something I wanted to be a part of. And uh, also grew up with Blade Tidwell. I think you had him on the show too a few years ago. Yeah, that was one of
Can
my
I tell
best.
you an honest confession? I'm going to say it right here on the air. If Blade
Yeah,
hears this, Blade, we have had 400 episodes. You're the worst interview I've ever had. Golly, Seth Halverson bailed him out, Hunter.
is
My
he?
man, my man it was like pulling teeth to get him to talk. He didn't say nothing. And luckily, he ain't said nothing all episode until Seth Halverson said he could beat him in basketball. And then all of a sudden, this fire got lit under Blade. And Blade, all of a sudden, he'd been quiet the whole episode. He's like, I dunk all over your ass. And I was like, he spoke. Anyway, no, that's mean to say worst episode. I didn't mean that. But no, I would say more accurately, he was the hardest to get to talk.
Yeah, you got to get under his skin to get him to talk. But yeah, we actually committed on the same day.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
So
no, hey, what he makes up for and not talking, he can absolutely throw it. So
yeah, I think
he
he's
did
gonna
go to St. Benedict. He graduated in 2016.
2016. Oh yeah, so he was quite a bit older than me.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why
4 years. Yeah, 4 years.
But yeah, so swinging it back around, obviously, so you commit with Blade. Y'all, I think it's awesome that y'all committed, even though that y'all said it didn't matter that they're good. So basically saying, hey, we're gonna come there and hopefully we can turn the culture around. You're not guys that said, hey, I'm gonna win there because they are the best team. You wanted to make them the best team. And so obviously, we've had guys like Luke and Evan and all them guys on here too, Cap Pavloni, and Tennessee obviously shifting culture, and a lot of that has to do with Tony V. The reason why we've had him on here twice. I think he's the most fascinating coach. I think it's crazy that there's people in this country that don't like him. There's not anybody I would sign my kid up to play for more or want to than him. With that, talk about that because you've been there as long as you have. Obviously, especially getting to redshirt, you get to watch everything. Talk about, just watching this team and the culture change to being such a powerhouse.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think that's kind of a lot of that, sitting and watching for a few years had a lot to do with some of my success because I'm behind guys like Evan Russell, Drew Gilbert, Jordan Beck, just down the list of, big time baseball players and future big leaguers. But yeah, those guys obviously just, the attitude they show up with at the ballpark every day, the willingness to work and, the attitude of doing whatever you want to do to win a game. It trickled down all the way from V into the leaders of his first few teams, and then it just keeps getting passed down from it gets passed down to me, and then I want to pass it down to another guy, and then another guy flips it with his flavor a little bit, and then just doing whatever that you can do to make a twist on what this culture is, and even make it a little better if you can.
Yeah, I messaged him 2 days ago and sent him. I had a memory come up on my Facebook where I had posted where I was at the Tennessee Ole Miss series, and I had pictures of him basically, whether he was throwing BP, whether he's walking around talking to guys, whether he was hitting the ball. He was just everywhere. And I told him I've never seen a coach move like he does. He's everywhere doing something. The guys tell me he's asking them questions, constantly making sure they're good. And then of course I watch y'all wipe the floor with Ole Miss, and me and Trey Lipscomb have so much fun joking about that series often. Because there was so much talking. Of course, we had Dylan DeLucia on here, and my other host who's a Tennessee fan. We gave him so much crap because he opened his mouth
Yeah,
series, and so that series was just so much fun because I sat with the Tennessee parents and Ole Miss was so hyped for it, and then I mean it was dismantled by the third inning that Friday night, and they were already heading for the exits, and that was when everybody realized, okay, this Tennessee team is for real. Obviously, I had thought that already. We'd interviewed most of the guys; they all felt that way. But to be there in person and kind of see it come to fruition, it's still crazy to me, and that's what makes baseball the game it is, Hunter. Because you watch it and you're a part of that team. I know you have to agree with me. That was the best regular season baseball team I've ever seen.
yeah, for sure. And watching it, you can see why. You have a combination of arguably one of the most talented lineups ever assembled, from your leadoff guy all the way down to, your, 13th, 14th bat off the bench. And then just big time stuff on the mound, coming out of the bullpen. You're going to have probably six or seven, maybe eight big leaguers on one team, just, on the pitching side of it.
Yeah, I mean it was crazy. I mean, we talked about Burke earlier. You had the freshman, and then you have like a 5 year guy like Evan, who, like you said, batting in the 9 hole, which is a guy who could bat in the heart of any lineup in America. It was just crazy the depth. You talk about the pitching time. Evan came on here and talked about catching, right? Like he'd lose nights of sleep, has to catch Burns, but then there was Doe and Beam, and it was just crazy. And we had Jack Brannigan on the Monday after Notre Dame won, and he even said it. Like he couldn't even deny it. It was crazy. He had just helped. He was the biggest influence. He had 4 home runs that weekend, and he even still said y'all are the best team. It's crazy how that team didn't win. But instead of reiterating that all day, because you got to watch that team, the guys like you who got to watch all that, learn from all that process, and you even got reps in there. It's not like you didn't play that season. I think it molds this team to what it is now because you talked about best batting lineup. I think y'all have the best batting lineup in baseball this year. And y'all did that even with losing Zane Denton. It's crazy. Y'all have depth again. Like you can plug in guys. I mean, you got guys stepping in midweeks hitting multiple bombs that, the casual fan doesn't even know because y'all got those kind of dudes on the bench.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think this year we were talking the other day, uh, just kind of comparing lineups a little bit, and I think both are pretty similar. Um, so I mean, I just think it tells you how much talent we have on this team this year, really 1 through 15, even 18 down off the bench. I think you have two, SEC caliber lineups if you split this offense in half. And it kind of shows you, you have a guy like Reese Chapman tonight, hasn't really played just a ton. He's a kid that works hard. He's a stud for sure. You'll see in a few years that that kid's a stud, but he comes out and goes 4 for 4 with a homer and a double. And, he doesn't play every day. But yeah, you got guys you just have big bats off the bench. You have so many options you can go with, and they all seem to work.
Yeah, and you know what I thought of when you said that, because I always think from an iron sharpens iron mentality, but I also think about the competitive drive. Like if you're a starter on that team, you know that you can't, BS. There's a guy behind you hungry and talented that can take your spot. So like, you better take everything you do seriously and put in the work, right? Because there's somebody right behind you that wants your job, friend or not, right? Because everybody wants to be that guy. And so that's another good thing is you got guys pushing each other because Chapman having that kind of night, lets other guys know, hey man, he can step in and do my job, no problem. So don't take it for granted. But before we, completely talk into this year, man, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about your highlights from last year. First, playing on the road in the SEC is the toughest thing. This year is carried over from the last 3 years, the home road splits. And so playing, somewhere like South Carolina, Founders Park, you go in there and you have a 4-hit day. What was that like having that kind of success on the road in the SEC?
Yeah, I think for me, an opportunity. I almost look at it as an opportunity to showcase what I can do in front of a bunch of guys and ladies that haven't seen me before. Um, and I think the Tennessee baseball has a narrative of being a villain and stuff. And I mean, we like to play on the road. We like to play with each other. Doesn't really matter where to go, but obviously a lot of fun going to different parks and different venues and playing in front of crazy fan bases.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, y'all had to go on the road for regionals, and clearly, you're not afraid of the moment, man. Ice water in your veins. Didn't matter how long, you didn't play. Because at Clemson, in the 14th inning, you rip a double that puts the go-ahead run that ends up being the game-winning run. That game was the best game of regionals or super regionals last year, hands down. Like the fact that I'm an LSU fan, but felt the tension I did, obviously rooting for Tennessee, you would have thought there was orange running through my veins. And I was so stressed and so nervous that game. That was the best game. Y'all and Clemson went toe to toe. When you go to the 14th like that, knockout, drag out, and then especially you had the moment that Denton did, obviously in the ninth, which down to the last pitch. I mean, that's everything you want as a baseball fan. But you as a player on the field, obviously the electricity of that game, but to have that moment in the 14th inning, just, how cool was that?
Yeah, it's pretty bittersweet considering how my first six at bats went before that. I was 0 for 6 going into that seventh one.
Well,
So
I wasn't even going to bring that up, Hunter, but since you went in and did it, but hey, it doesn't matter. You got the one in the end.
yeah, hey, that double cancels out the first 6 at bats before that. So that I actually consider that one of my best games I've ever had here.
I wouldn't have been surprised if the guys didn't tell you that. You know what? We're gonna forget that we saw all that. I mean, you probably had
Yeah,
in six outs. I'm sure you had multiple strikeouts in there. I'm sure it was pretty tough night.
I'm pretty sure it was a golden sombrero
Oh
for,
man.
but hey, best 1 for 7 night I've ever had.
And how often can you say, regardless, it's 7 ABs in one night? Hey, you got a lot of work in. I bet y'all slept really well after that game.
Oh yeah, yeah. It took a little while to wind down after that one, but once I finally got my eyes closed, I slept pretty good.
No doubt. So, obviously y'all go to Southern Miss. I'm not even gonna spend too much time there. I hated it there. I went there the year before when LSU went. I don't like that environment. I don't like those people. I'm glad y'all beat them. It made me ecstatic. And then of course I was gonna be in Omaha covering it, so I was gonna get to see you guys. So I was down for it, against my team, LSU. Man, you had another. I mean, you proved that the stage once again. This wasn't no 1 for 6. You had a 3 for 4 game, including a 2 run home run in Omaha. Every kid envisions playing in Omaha one day. What's it like to hit a bomb in one?
Man, there's not really a whole lot I remember from, the moment or that game. It's just one of those things where you kind of black out during the moment. It was just, pretty cool feeling, uh, you know, catching one clean off the bat like that. And, it felt like it went by so fast, but really a cool moment. I remember, rounding the bases and kind of looking around the park and seeing almost 30,000 people in the stands.
I need to hit a bomb in Omaha because literally it doesn't matter what team it is, what player. Every guy has described it just like you did. They've all blacked out. I just want to. I have no way to describe that moment because none of y'all can tell me because you don't remember it. Like I need to, and man, I want to feel that so I can know. But yeah, that's to get it done on that stage and such a man, I was a part of that crowd. Like the atmosphere was rocking, man. Ain't nothing you're gonna get better than SEC teams playing each other in Omaha. Absolutely packed. It goes all the way back to the regular season, right? I was there for the record attendance. LSU, Tennessee, like you said, it's that villain thing, right? That's the beauty part of that, right? Like a team like y'all, it's kind of reminded me of the Warriors. It's either you love them or hate them, but no matter what, everybody's gonna watch. And I feel like Tennessee baseball is a great product for college baseball over the last 4 or 5 years because whether love or hate you, they're going to tune in. And Omaha was the same way, man. And LSU fans respected y'all. That was the thing. They were genuinely nervous because they know the product that y'all had on the field. Obviously, it didn't end the way y'all wanted to, but you come into this season, everybody's talking in the fall. Y'all obviously killed the transfer portal. You got young guys moving up like you talked about. So I knew, y'all were going to be this good obviously start the SEC season losing a series. You don't want to do that, but you come back last week and you bounce back strong, and now you got a home stretch. You obviously, run rule tonight. How good is this team feeling right now? Because, like I said, how good y'all play at home, so you're at home right now in general, but also just coming off an SEC series win going forward.
Yeah, it feels great, especially, to get your first SEC series win. Winning any single one of those is huge. Because, I mean, in this league, you can get beat on any given day. But yeah, we got quite a bit of confidence moving, into these early middle weeks of SEC play. I think we got a good shot at, winning a lot of games, SEC games, SEC series this year, and looking to get one from Georgia this weekend, get a series from them, and go on the road and try and get our first series road win.
Yeah, no doubt. I got two more questions. I'll let you go. Obviously, it's going to be about the Tennessee Georgia series. First, I want to start with your teammate before I talk about the other team. AJ Causey, man, coming into the year, y'all probably knew about how good he was going to be. You're facing him in the fall. You see it. There's a lot of people, including myself. I did not expect him to be this good, man. I expected this to be solely Drew Beam's, team when you talk about from a pitching angle. AJ said not so fast, man. Like I'm that guy. Just how impressed have you been with how well he's pitched? I mean, he's been dominant.
Yeah, funny story. Sean McCann, he's our analytics guy, and he does all the stuff. And we're doing live ABs, and we're watching, Kazi get warmed up, and he looks at me and he was like, "Be honest, can you hit this kid?" And I look at him and I was like, "No way." He's by far the toughest right on right matchup I've ever had, just because the angle he's throwing it and the ability, to command 3 pitches and throw any 3 pitches at any time is was just a tough look too. And then especially coming from down there, uh, at that 3-4 slot, he gives teams a lot of trouble when he gets outs.
Yeah, and so I mean, him being able to be your Friday guy and allowing Drew to stay in what he's been doing for 3 years now, not having to embrace that ace role, even though he is an ace. it leaves a lot of options for your pitching staff. And, it's just one of those things that I think makes y'all scared because when it comes to winning a series on down the road, knowing that you got a guy like AJ that can go out and get you that first win, and then you got Drew coming behind him, it just makes y'all scared to deal with, especially when we talk about that lineup that you said you got. But I want to talk about a guy that's going to be on the opposite side. Good friend of mine. There's probably, honestly, nobody I'll talk to more than Charlie Condon. Um, Hunter, I don't know how to explain this guy. He's so humble, and all he talks about is how he needs to improve. But if he improves anymore, he's going to hit a home run every AB. He's already batting like 600, dude. For him being on the opposite side, what's it like, man? Just how impressed are you with that guy?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what I would do if I was pitching against him is throw four balls in a row in another batter's box and put him on. But yeah, what he's doing is freakish numbers right now, and especially the average with the 17 home runs that he has is it's pretty cool to watch. Yeah, I mean he's definitely a guy when he steps up to the plate, you're in the outfield and you're ready to go and track one down if it stays in the yard.
Well, in that opening Kentucky series, they walked him 7 times. They were able to do what you said because nobody else was hitting. Unfortunately, the next week they didn't have the same case, and so you couldn't walk them because everybody was teeing off. So hopefully, y'all are able to put guys down to where, hey, you can say, you know what, I don't want to face Chuck, man. We're gonna sit him over there on first base and not let him
Yeah,
bat. But yeah, it's crazy with the batting average, like you said. And what's crazy is he came on here before the season. I mean, you've seen him, I'm sure, plenty of times where, man, he ain't big. He's talked about how he needs to put on weight, and that's what throws me off. Small frame guy who even admits that he wants to get bigger, and then he just hitting 450-foot tanks on the regular. Like, it don't even make sense to me.
yeah. I mean, I think he Sunday our Sunday game last year at Georgia, he made sure he was known for that game. I think he hit about two 450-foot homers that game and stacked up a few RBIs with those. And we were talking about him for a few hours on the way back home.
Well, we got AJ as an upcoming guest, so we don't need him to give up any bombs. And then Drew, I have in college baseball survivor, and it's getting down to the final 12, so I need him to not get any bombs. So they need to take care of business, not let Charlie have a big weekend, which I guess I should mention he's on the other tribe of my other host. So all the more reason why I need the Tennessee pitching staff to do their thing. But I look forward to it. Like I said, when y'all play at home, y'all are just a tough team to beat. I think y'all will take care of business. I think you're a better overall team in general. I got y'all ranked fourth on my poll. But just that batting lineup, those guys pitching, I'd be as far as to not get ahead. Obviously, I'm talking, not you, but I think you guys will sweep personally, but at minimum take two if they manage to sneak one by. But I think it'll be a great series, and man, I look forward to you guys doing it. But that being said, we play a game of this or that with every guest. You down to play?
Let's do it.
All right, this or that. I mean, I went to look. I don't even got a bag. This or that is brought to you by Chinook Cedary. I'm sorry to the audience. I normally have a bag, but I know you're familiar with them. What's your favorite kind of seed?
Favorite kind of seed. I like the barbecue.
Barbecue. Smokehouse barbecue. If y'all want to know a cool secret, mix them with cinnamon toast. We call it the smoke and toast. It's absolutely fire. But also, we were talking about Drew Beam and we're talking about Chinook Cedary. Go order some, type in code BEAM32. Help him out. He's an ambassador. Get your seeds, watch some Tennessee baseball. But let's play this game. First off, easy question. Chicken or beef tacos?
Fried chicken.
Any kind of chicken. Chicken tacos or beef tacos?
If it's fried chicken tacos, I'm going with fried chicken. If it's grilled, I'm rocking with beef.
All right, all right. Liquid soap or bar soap?
Liquid soap, bar soap, to me is a no go.
Liquid soap only cleans 50% of your body.
Well, I'll double pump.
I actually made that up, but you're the first person to ever say that back to me. Usually people are astonished as I make that lie up and they're like, "Are you serious?" And instead, you said you'll double pump. I love it. All right. Hit a home run or rob a home run?
Ooh, hit a home run.
I don't know, man. The idea of putting my glove over that wall and taking somebody's stuff just really sounds exciting.
Yeah, it sounds fun, but I like hitting one and getting a few RBIs out of it. There's not a better feeling than that.
Yeah. For me is the hardest question. It may not be for you, but this is the hardest question I think I'm gonna ask. Smoky gray uniforms or the dark mode black?
Smoky gray.
Are you a gray over the creams or the whites, or where are you at on that?
I'm smoky gray,
All the way.
black, white, cream, pinstripes, orange.
Yeah, it's usually the grays, and we also have the softball players on here, and obviously they have the Summit Blue. Like when you talk Tennessee uniforms, whether you're talking about baseball, softball, football, whether you're talking about the grays, the blacks, the creams, the Summit Blues, like dude, the Tennessee sports kit is sick. And me as an LSU fan, we're so traditional. We would never steer off and have anything fun like that. Like it drives me nuts. Uh, I mean, seriously, they would cause anarchy and riot in the streets if you put a black uniform for LSU. So I'm jealous, man. All the uniforms y'all have, they're fun. Like I love it. Um, would you rather be lost in a jungle or trapped in a haunted house?
Lost in a jungle. I don't like haunted at all.
But tigers, snakes, and you ain't at the zoo no more. Them things are running loose.
That's okay. I'm dealing with that rather than a ghost.
I hear you. I hear you. All right, so that's the bad scenario question. Here's the good one. Would you rather a private yacht or a private jet?
Private yacht. Uh, can't go wrong on water for
That
sure.
that tells me you like to fish. The yacht guys are always guys who like to fish.
I like to fish. I just like being on the boat and being out on water. Nothing better than that. No
And a
worries
per
at all.
and a perfect time to plug because I messaged you about it. Being on the yacht wearing one of those sick Tennessee rope hats, those things are awesome.
Which one? What do you say?
You posted one that day and I messaged you and I was like, that hat is fire. Like I don't remember which one
Oh yeah, yeah,
specifically,
yeah,
but
yeah,
you
yeah.
were wearing one of the sweetest hats I've seen.
I think it was the bad day or a great day to be a ball.
Yeah, it
Bad day
had the
hat.
perfect combination of it was nice.
Yeah.
Definitely a good yacht hat. All right, last question, the money question. Asked it to every Tennessee player who's came through here. Be the number one overall pick in the MLB draft, get a $10 million signing bonus, or win a national championship.
I think winning national championships is a lot more likely for me, so I'll go with that one.
Well, I've changed my tune. I've always tried to talk players into the $10 million in first pick in the draft, but we had Paul Skeens on here after he was drafted, and he said he would give up the draft pick and the money and never give up the experience of winning that championship. And so now that he said that, like I really don't have an argument anymore. And then your teammate, Trey Lipscomb, decided he was gonna come on here and say, would you do your podcast for $10 million? I was like, I'd take $10 million. He goes, no, backtrack. He goes, we talk about the memories that come with a championship. He said, that means everything. You go to Omaha every year with your son. You've watched us play. You've made friends. You talk to players. He's like, you got to give all that back. And I was like, Trey, that's why I asked the damn questions. That's bull. And he goes, exactly. He said, you wouldn't give it up for the money. I was like, psychoanalyzing me.
Yeah, that's a good one though.
But he's right. That because that's the end of it's never about the hardware with the championship. It starts, in the summer into the fall, blood, sweat, and tears with your brothers, ends all the way, basically it is a 365 days worth of work with your brothers, and it ends in this dog pile moment in Omaha. Like every guy that we've had on here that's done it just says there's no feeling. And honestly, to end all this, I honestly think I only have obviously any team can win. I only got four teams that I think can do it, and y'all are one of them. As a matter of fact, I was talking about bets earlier. I need to just go place a bet on those four teams. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Anyway, and then y'all need to get me paid too. I
Hey,
don't think it's gonna I
I've
don't think
told
it's
a
gonna
few
be my
people that.
team. Yeah, no, I actually bet I already had a bet in before the season. I bet Wake while the odds were good. I still think that they have the ability to do it, but I don't know, man. Nick Kurtz being hurt, and then Josh Hartle has not been what I thought he'd be. Obviously, Burns. I ain't gonna talk about that sort of stuff, but he's been electric. Massey's still been good, but yeah, Seaver King hasn't even been. I don't know, man. I thought that team was gonna be. Maybe I got caught up in the moment because I was in Omaha last year and thought it was gonna carry over, but I like y'all a lot better. Obviously, Arkansas is there. I'm interested, man. Clemson is not a team that I had on my radar, and it's crazy because right, y'all got Billy Barrels. Pray for Billy if y'all are listening, by the way, having appendix staying out. But when he left to come with y'all, I really thought between him and Grice leaving, that team wasn't gonna. And dude, I don't know. I don't know if they're a team I would bet on, but they're good. Obviously, I'm rambling right now, but
They're swinging it. They can swing it for
yeah.
sure.
I definitely though, I definitely would say no matter how anybody's got them ranked, and maybe I'm an SEC homer, I just feel like y'all in Arkansas are probably the clear-cut best teams to me. This kind of really reminds me of a couple years ago. And so it's gonna be the same thing it's about y'all getting it done in the end. But I think y'all got all the pieces, got the coach, got the pitching staff. So hey man, gotta stay healthy and I wish y'all nothing but the best of luck on the road there.
Absolutely, man. Well, I appreciate you having me on. Had a great time.
Absolutely. That's Hunter Ensley, everybody. If you like hearing his story or you just like hearing Average Joe's talk X's and O's, please like and share the podcast on Facebook. Retweet us on Twitter. Listen and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and Anchor. As always, comments, hugs, love, feedback, all that good stuff is welcome. We will see everyone back tomorrow night. Daniel will be back, and we are going to actually transition to talking about Mississippi State football. We're going to talk about ringing them bells. And we're going to talk with Kyle Ferry. But remember, in the meantime, strong body, sharp minds, grit and grind all the time. We are out.